Hi, so I really wanted to do a oracle card reading, just selecting one card for 2024, for us moving into 2024. And I'm using the Sacred Rebel deck, which is amazing. So let's just call in. I just want to call in my highest self, my guides, to assist us right now in selecting a card that has the message that we need to hear right now. What is the message that we need to hear as we move into 2024? So anyone that is tuning into this video, because you're tuning into this video because you resonate with my energy in some way, we are all connected in this universe. There is no true separation. Separation is a game that we have been playing. It's a consciousness structure that we agreed to play so that we could experience life in a different way. There would be no way for us to experience a lot of what we've experienced in this reality without us believing that we were separate from each other. Now let's just think, for example, about like betrayal. Let's say, now obviously when we go through betrayal, it's horrible. It's not nice. Or when we are the one that is betraying someone, we don't normally do that with glee. It's not that we're wanting intentionally to hurt someone, or not normally anyway. However, in going through those experiences, we learn a lot of stuff about the soul, and we learn a lot of stuff about connection. We learn through those experiences, and we'd never be able to learn anything through the experience of betrayal, let's say, if we were always in unity consciousness. So there's so many things within separation consciousness that's allowed us to grow as souls in ways that we could never have grown at before. So it adds to creation. So even if some of those creations are not nice, well, we learn, okay, well, that's what we don't really want to continue to learn through, and we choose new ways to learn. So the card that has come up is release the dark wound and let love in. So this card then is really, if we look at the image of the card, it's someone that's letting go of a fish and allowing it to go back to its home, back into the water. Now, when it comes to us as humans and this journey that we have been through, we've been programmed by the inverted matrix, which is just a copy of the organic matrix. So the true source God consciousness matrix, where we remember we are all unified and connected, where in this reality where we forget ourselves and we are separate, we believe we are separate from each other, then we go through a lot of difficult lessons and programming. We start to believe a lot of things about the self that is not true, like I am not enough. We start to believe that we feel ashamed for things that we have experienced. However, a lot of those experiences we experienced because we didn't have our full consciousness, so we were unconscious and we made a lot of those choices and decisions. So it's not because we are bad. So it's those places within those dark places where we don't feel good enough, where we feel shame, where we feel guilt, where we feel dirty, wrong, humiliation. All of those things are not the true self. The true self is divinity, and that is what we are waking up to. So this card is asking us to let those, is to actually using our light to turn on the light, right? So how do we see in the darkness? We have to turn on the light. So it's actually about going back into the self and reconnecting back to the true self. And I have actually just created an amazing program on that journey, because that is the journey that I've been going through for the last 3 years, where I've been reconnecting back to my divinity, back to the light, and in reconnecting back to that light, back to that divinity. When we realize we are light, we are source, that is the true self, and we connect to that, well, it starts to illuminate all of those dark places within, all the shadows, all of the bits we've denied, repressed, ignored, we've been scared to look at. But when we're scared to look at it and we deny it and repress it, well, it's still there, we're holding on to it. So it's still, then it is then basically sculpting our life. So rather than our life being built and sculpted via the truth of who we are, which is light, which is love, which is source, it's been sculpted and built by the lies of who we are, which is the darkness, which is the not good enough. So it restricts rather than expands our life. So when we actually do that inner work and we go on that inner journey, so really this is a a message as well to say that if you are not already on that journey of going inwards to find the true authentic self, that is the only true path. It's giving you a message to go on that journey, because in going on that journey, people feel scared to go inside. They think, I don't want to be with myself. We distract ourselves with addictions, with the TV's on, there's music on, we're always on the phone somewhere, we're always on our phone, distraction, because we're scared to be with the self, because we're scared about all the voices we're going to start hearing about the self, all the harsh words, narratives that are going on in our minds. But as we start connecting back to our light, especially through meditation, which is how I do it, through hypnotic guided meditations, through an adventure within, as we do that, we realise it's not hard and it's definitely not scary. It's actually fun and enjoyable to do that inner work. If you do it in that kind of a way, through like guided meditations, it's really fun, or do it with a therapist like myself, someone that can support you through that. So in doing that, we realise, we start to feel the truth of who we are, and that light that we're connected, because we've all got a divine spark within, and as we connect to it and we illuminate that light, well, it dissolves that darkness. It actually melts the stuff that is not us, and we allow it, we transmute it, or we give it back to source. So I feel like this is a representation of that, how as we're connecting to our light, we then are giving back that darkness, releasing the dark wound to let love in. So we let it go back to be absorbed back into its true home, because the truth about dark is that it comes from the light. But the darkness is only really scary when we don't use the light to see it for what it truly is. So again, I'll go back to that, how I said, like, how do you see in the darkness? We have to turn on the light. The dark is only scary when we don't understand it. And light is information. So when we start to use our light, when we start to use truth, to look at our darkness, when we start to dissolve and we let it go back to source, because it was only meant to ever be there for us to actually find our light. Because in this reality that we came into, where I'd said before, we'd agreed to forget ourselves, so we could experience separation consciousness and learn from that. Well, we had to, we knew there were going to be difficult challenges, so that it would remind us to go inwards and find the light, to reconnect back to the truth of who we are. And once we reconnect back to the truth, to our divinity, to our light, all that programming, well, it starts to dissolve, right? So we start to step into our soul alignment, and we start to get onto our true destined higher path. We no longer have to play in the false matrix. We no longer have to suffer unnecessarily. We no longer have to be in all of these big dramas. We can start moving, like I say, we can start being a co-creator. That's what happens. We become a co-creator with the universe. So rather than our lives being directed by all of these lies, which happens when we do not go inwards, that people that have not gone on that journey of inner search their life will be being ruled right now, directed right now by the ego, and that is all of us to an extent, right? We are all on this journey of taking off the lies, taking off the mask, finding the authentic self, and then allowing that to light up from within and guide the way. And that's what happens. We start to move into co-creation with the universe. We start to move into synchronicity, and we start to be led on our path. So this card is really giving us that message in 2024 that it's a year of continuing on that journey of self-discovery, of going inwards to connect to the true self, of letting go of all the distractions, and making it like I said, if we've got trauma, everyone has trauma. Everybody that is on this planet has gone through trauma, whether you are fully aware of that or not. You might look back now, look back and think I had a lovely childhood, but there was trauma within it. Whilst it might not have been any major events, being on this planet is traumatic for all of us, because we think we are separate from source, and we are not. We feel abandoned and rejected, and we don't feel like we fit in, because the world feels foreign, because the world, the false matrix, has been We've been programmed to not see the evil, right? We've been programmed with the evil being normal part of our society. Seeing the wars on the news from being kids, seeing people on the streets homeless, seeing all the famine and starvation. All of that is not organic. We were led to believe that was normal and organic, but that was not organic. That was orchestrated by the dark controllers. So as we go on this journey, we stop allowing ourselves to be pulled into that artificial world, and we start going in search of truth, which is an inner journey. Then in truth we find our light, because light is truth, it's knowledge, it's information, whereas darkness is the withholding of information. It is being in ignorance. And we have that saying, right? Ignorance is bliss, but that is bullshit. That is a lie. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance allows evil to continue. Ignorance allows for us to be slaves to the system. So while sometimes when we are going on this journey of truth, and I've really been, like I say, through that very consciously, you realise as you start to awaken, you've always been on this path of awakening, but you start to have bigger realizations, bigger aha moments on this inner journey, and you realize everything's happening in divine perfection. You are exactly where you are meant to be right now, hearing this message as well, and getting that signal that if you've been thinking about going on this inner journey, now is the time to do it. And actually, I would say as well, people that choose not to go on this inner journey, life's going to get very difficult for those people, because they're going to be really pulled into the lies, because they're not going to be able, because you will not get truth from the mainstream. The mainstream is the lie, and they survive, feed off, feeding that lie to people. But those that go on that inner journey of light, well, life's going to get much easier. Life's going to become much more flow. Yes, there'll still be challenges. There's still challenges on our path to growth, because that's what expands the soul. But the challenges are completely different, and it's more a labour of love when you're doing these challenges, rather than it being something that pulls you down into a dark place. So so at first, while you're on that journey of discovering the light, there is going to be some things that you come across in yourself, in the world, that have been taking place, in the world, I should say, that have been taking place. You're going to uncover some truths about the world, which you may have already uncovered some of these, like about the cabal, things like that, which are quite hard to stomach. But we must see those things in order to dissolve them. We must look at them with the light, and we must go inside ourselves and find all that corruption we see on the outside. And there is so much corruption. All that corruption we see on the outside is a reflection of humanity, of the corruption that we have within, of all the stuff within us that's not the true self, like not enoughness. So this card is saying, now is the time to face that trauma, to work through that trauma, to do your inner healing work. And like I say, it is not scary, and it's not hard. It's actually, the universe is supporting this work right now. We're getting a lot of light, a lot of support from the universe. This work happens a lot quicker now, a lot more rapidly, a lot more accelerated. And like I say, as you find your true self, well, you find a new confidence, a new belief. So it is, I just cannot recommend doing this journey more. It's absolutely transformed my life, and it transforms so many lives when they go on this journey. So 2024 is about going deeper on that journey of self, letting go of it's not even like letting go. You have to let go of this darkness. We dissolve the darkness. It just changes into light as we start to realize the truth of what all those lies were that we've been holding in the body, as we move those lies and traumas out of the body. And as we do that, obstacles get cleared out of our way, and we're going to move into a lot more lightness in 2024 as we move through that work. A lot more guidance, a lot more, move a lot more into our destined path, and have a lot more fun and adventure, because the last few years have been heavy, have been hard for most people since 2020. But it's going to get, for those people that do commit to the self and do that work, life's going to get lighter, and life's going to get a lot more fun. So hopefully you enjoyed that message. Thank you.